Hello, welcome, and an excellent evening. Today I want to do a pretty quick show and tell, so to speak, with this Amiga external floppy drive. This is the model, where do I have it? 1010, which is the external 3.5-inch disk drive that was produced for the original Amiga, which later became known as the Amiga 1000, which is why it's called the 1010 or 1010. And it is just a simple external floppy disk drive that you can use even with the Amiga 500 or the 2000. They all have an external floppy drive port. But it was originally meant for the Amiga 1000. This one here is in very good condition. It is a little bit yellowed, so we will do a slight retrobriting today. Just fill it up in a little tub with hydrogen peroxide and put it a little bit in the sun for a couple hours. That should do the trick. It will yellow again, that's what they do, but at least for a couple months or years, it will be very much looking almost like new, I hope. So I will open this up, we will clean it, we will see if the drive mechanism itself needs a little bit of cleaning, removing the dust or something, but the drive works, I already tested it. So I think this should hopefully be a pretty quick job. And these are quite nice. They are not super rare, but also not super common because most people probably only had one disk drive for money or financial reasons. But this one here I got from a friend. He got rid of all his Amiga stuff. So I took it because I think it's looking quite nice, and I will pair it up with my beige Amiga 500 because that does fit to that. And the black Amiga 500, of course, that would look just as great. So that's where it will end up. And yeah, let's take it apart. All right, it's taken apart, and yeah, it looks pretty simple in its design. There is a lot of shielding. So we have this RF shield where the power supply comes in and all the data lines. And there is, I think, 2 chips here, and I don't know what exactly they are, but those drive everything in here. There's, interesting enough, there's 2 floppy connectors. For some reason, maybe they planned on doing a dual drive version or something, because I think the Amiga can use up to 4 floppy drives. So this I will just clean. I will take some Windex and a microfiber cloth and clean the cable. That should do it. The drive itself has a big metal cage around it, and it's a Neutronics drive, which in 5¼ inch are always dying, but okay. This one seems to be working fine. So we'll leave it at that. The capacitors are still looking good, so I'm not going to replace them. I don't see any signs of corrosion, and as it works, I'm not going to fix it. This seems to be just fine. There is a little bit of dust in here. I'll see if I can get to that, but I think it's not super worrying. The front plate does have some dust in there as well, so I'll give it a brush. It does have the LED glued in, so I won't put this into hydrogen peroxide. I will merely clean it off and maybe put it a little bit into the sun to bleach it, but not too long, so I don't get the plastics too brittle. This one here hasn't yellowed much, but the top shell has yellowed. It doesn't come across on the camera that well, maybe a little bit like that. It's not super bad, so I think a couple hours will suffice. Okay, so I'll put it out and then after some hours we will check back in. So here are the both shells, soaked in 20% hydrogen peroxide, filled up with a little bit of water because I didn't have enough to cover everything, but that should still do the trick. It's nice, warm and sunny outside. Yeah, you have to take care not that it doesn't get too hot or else everything will warp, but if it's submerged in liquid, that is not a problem. But if you just bleach it with UV, then you might need to take care that the plastic doesn't deform. But I think if I leave this out here for like, let's say 4 or 5 hours, it should bleach extremely well. The front bezel I put on our guinea pig stall so that it can get some UV light, and I will leave it out for an hour or two. Because I think the UV also makes the plastic more brittle, and I just want to have it a little bit bleached compared to what it's looking like now. And it's not that terribly bleached, so I think that should be fine. It has been something like 6 hours at least, and I think we have maybe 1 more hour of sunshine. So I will leave it out here to get it the maximum amount of sunshine, but I think it's looking very good. The day is over, so to speak. We have bleached very, very, very clean feet. That's actually looking pretty nice. This one wasn't submerged due to the fact that the LED is glued in, and I don't even know why. Maybe someone did that after the factory. But I think this came out nice as well. It is not as yellowed as it was before. And I cleaned it, of course. I cleaned everything. And this is the top shell, which has still some scuff marks, but I also tried to clean it. But these are, I could probably remove them with magic eraser, but then it would destroy the texture. So I'm not going to do it. But it does look relatively the same color now. There is a slight difference still, but I think on camera you can hardly make it out. Depends on how the light falls onto it. But I think I'm fine with how it turned out. So we have to assemble it back into its shell, and I think this one here goes in first. So that's what we're gonna do. And I do see a little bit of water still in here, so I'm gonna try and blow it out with some compressed air or some, I don't know, something that like a brush or a sponge. Wow, that was quite difficult. Had to take it apart, and of course I forgot to bleach the little button, but never mind. That will not happen today anymore. And I will try to fiddle this around this post, because I think it was like that when I took it apart earlier today. And now to put everything back into place, there are little nubs here that I need to get the holes aligned with. There's also a little bit of water still in these, so that's better. All right, this is looking good. there you go. That's the Amiga 1010 floppy disk drive. I also cleaned the cable. It's not as spotty anymore. There's one discoloration here that I can't get off of it. But I think for a machine that is, well, probably not 40 years old, but at least 35 years old, maybe even a bit older. I didn't look at the TTL logic chips. I should do that in edit to pinpoint when this was made, but 35 years at least, I guess. This is holding up pretty nicely. So I will fetch my white Amiga 500 and we'll hook it up and boot up Workbench using 2 floppy disk drives. And there we go. This is my beige Amiga 500 in the new modern case with new keycaps that you can't see right now. But I want to keep the focus on the monochrome Commodore screen over there and the A1010 floppy disk drive. This is running Kickstart 1.3, so we can't plug in the Workbench disk in this drive. That won't work. That only works in later revisions. So we have to boot from DF0, which is the internal disk drive. And this will take a couple of seconds. And I'm going to take the Workbench extras disk and we can check if this one here is actually working. So let's wait a couple of seconds and see how long this takes. There we go. It took almost a minute, I think. So I'm going to put in the extras disk. And the Amiga auto detects when a disk is inserted. And there we go. Here are the extras. And yeah, the drive still works, even after more than 30 years, which is quite nice. So there's a bunch of stuff on here. Let's run this line program. I think it's kind of like a screensaver. It's from the Peter demos, Linie 2, so line number 2. Yeah, quite interesting. I guess this was published together with the German version of Workbench, maybe? Who knows? But yeah, that does work, and we should also be able to put in the Workbench disk over here. It should be possible as well. Yeah, it seamlessly switched over to the DF1 drive, so you only have to boot from DF0, but DF1 will be working just fine, like that. And of course, we will try out the iconic Say program, the speaking Amiga, which was a big selling point when it was introduced, but honestly, it was a little more than a toy.
I am the Amiga.
Yeah, awesome.
I am the Amiga.
The A1010, that's it. Clean and working just fine. It has been taken care of very nicely over the past decades, so there's nothing wrong with this. And it does fit the Amiga 500 style, but of course the original Amiga would be the perfect companion for this due to the design language. But still, I think it matches very nicely with the white Amiga. And I'm going to pull you away from the monitor real quick so that you can marvel at the whole contraption. But that's it for today. This was a quick and short one. So make sure to comment, share, like, and subscribe, and all the usual stuff. And follow me on Mastodon over at chaos.social/@root42. Also, I now have a PeerTube instance where you can watch all my stuff for free going forward. Yeah, but that's it for today, and see you in the next one. Bye.